Ladies and gentlemen, William Barr has told the special counsel, essentially, you better stick to the report that you wrote. And if you don't stick to it, there could be legal repercussions. DOJ tells Mueller that any testimony must remain, this is CNN, any testimony must remain in the boundaries of your public report. Politico, DOJ tells Mueller to limit testimony to his report. So, this is hilarious. DOJ tells Mueller not to go beyond the scope of his report when he testifies before Congress Wednesday. This is important. It's important because Democrats are only doing this for a soundbite. They know that they have egg on their face again. They tried and failed yet again. They lost the election after cheating Bernie Sanders. They tried to foment this myth, this hoax, that Trump worked with Russia to buy Facebook ads and infiltrate the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated. Oh, by the way, he wasn't cheated. They gave him every chance to win. Now we know that Bernie Sanders, whatever he was known for, or whatever he... The guy essentially is very difficult to come to terms with the fact that he fomented the same myth that said Russia informed the country that he was cheated. That's what the DNC hack is all about, because Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. Other Democratic officials were forced to resign, all in disgrace. And then they fomented the belief through a Steele dossier that was purchased by Clinton and a CrowdStrike assessment that the United States government never verified and has no clue if it's accurate, because CrowdStrike was outsourced by the Democratic Party. And we know from recent court testimony that the United States government, that CrowdStrike never even gave the U.S. government the entire unredacted report or analysis that it conducted on DNC servers. If it even conducted analysis on DNC servers, we have no clue. We have no clue. That's why the ODNI, the Office of Director of National Intelligence, and Department of Homeland Security reports, the two intelligence reports before the Mueller Probe, which was started by classified information was leaked from James Comey. Okay, that's against the law. Chuck Grassley had to read Comey's memos in a skiff. Okay? But we have no clue because the ODNI and DHS reports come with warranty disclaimers, literally stating the United States government does not back or verify or guarantee or state with certainty that anything took place. And it's just an assessment. It's just we assess. It's our judgment. And judgments are between high confidence and moderate confidence and low confidence, not certainty. I explain all this in my upcoming website. If you know anyone who has Trump derangement syndrome, it's a website that'll help. It's like your own little think tank to help defeat. And like, for example, just recently, he never said what they say he said. He literally, in his tweet, said, then come back and show us how it's done. But whether it's the claims, he said both sides, he said there's fine people, I debunk that nonsense. Whether it's Trump worked with Russia, no, he didn't. Trump obstructed justice, no, he didn't. Notice how you don't have any indictments, but you had the will, you had the intent to do everything possible to find criminal acts. With Clinton, she literally transferred top secret and special access program intelligence outside of the government on servers where she had the identities of CIA agents. And you have some journalists who are like, I care about them so much. Like, really? Then you should know that the identities of these people were on her servers outside of the United States government that the whole planet infiltrated. How do we know? Because she was using Microsoft Exchange software. And she had no benefit of any security that the United States government uses to protect its classified and top secret and special access program intelligence. But they want obstruction of justice claims against Trump through Mueller. They want Mueller to say, gosh, I could have found something possibly, maybe. I couldn't find it because, Trump is a really bad guy. Maybe, possibly. They want him to just say as many things as possible and then have media spin and use some kind of the failed propaganda to try to create a reality. The reality is that none of the obstruction claims, oh, the Comey memos, who cares? They're not verified. Oh, Don McGahn's testimony, so what? Not verified either. Okay? You can't, if it's just based on testimony, then you can have testimony from people like William D. Campbell that said that Russian lobbyists were bragging about their influence over the Clinton Foundation and President Obama's administration. Oh, you don't want to use that testimony, but you want to use Don McGahn's testimony. Oh, okay. Because the initial rebuttal was, well, that's just his words, his opinion. He was under oath, William D. Campbell, talking about the uranium sale. He was under oath. Spoke to numerous committees in Congress. Said that, yeah, Russian lobbyists were bragging about their influence, and Uranium One executives gave money specifically to ensure Russian lobbyists were lobbying the Obama administration and the Clinton Foundation specifically to ensure that the uranium deal went down. He was under oath. So they said, well, Don McGahn was under oath, so William D. Campbell was under oath too. Why don't we start a special counsel regarding the uranium sale, which should have taken place? Oh, it was a business deal. Yeah, right. Everything they accused Trump of, they're guilty of. Trump is winning every single cultural, political, and political battle. He is. Because Democrats without Twitter are nothing. Trump without Twitter is still president. Democrats without Twitter have no base. They have no base of support without Twitter and Facebook, mainly Twitter. They live on social media. They live in a cyber theocracy and a cyber reality. It's like Tron for liberals. They have nothing except condemnation and judgment, condemnation, preaching, pontificating. That's all they do every day. And they're failures at that also. So you see Trump going after the squad. Well, I read my Jerusalem Post op-ed below in the pinned comment. What AOC stated about the most barbaric, heinous atrocities that took place, okay, in history, world history, affecting, it's like the algorithm, you can't even say things, but you talk about cultural appropriation. They utilize Jewish history and the history of the world, and then they call anyone a you-know-what who disagrees with them, and then she uses the phrase, never again. We know exactly what she's referring to, and it's not only historically inaccurate, but it's revisionist history, that if somebody on the extreme right were to do that, they would be a revisionist historian, and they would be then outed as somebody who is a denier. But if it's AOC, or, rightfully labeled as somebody who's just a denier and anti-Semitic, but if it's AOC, or if it's the other congresswoman all about the Benjamins or whatever, hypnotize the world, they don't even have the guts, they're spineless, to actually condemn overt bigotry. To them, it's okay, because if they do it, it's not a problem. So I explain in numerous articles in the Jerusalem Post and in the Federalist the duplicity exhibited by the Democratic Party, especially when it comes to issues that Jewish people like myself find offensive, statements, rhetoric that I find extremely offensive and dangerous. But you never see them. You never see that. So then Trump brings up Israel and Trump says things about the squad, it resonates with me. I agree with Trump. So does Pelosi. Here's a little secret. So does Pelosi. Okay? Everyone knows Pelosi wants them not to be in the limelight anymore. That's why it took place. That's why all of this is taking place. And the Huffington Post is right. It started with the Democratic Party because they had enough of the squad. In a good way, they're tanking the Democrats, which is hilarious. At the end of the day, Clinton's going to be not only running nominee, obviously, if she runs. She's going to run. She has until October or November. She'll announce either before the third debate or right after the third debate, because they'll realize they have absolutely nobody. And the wonderful, wonderful progressive Congress representatives are tanking the Democratic Party. Pelosi was trying to please get them to quiet down. And now Trump is kind of like, it's just in a hilarious way playing all of them. But with the Mueller probe, the Mueller nonsense, they needed some kind of soundbite, which is why they have Mueller testifying. He didn't even want to. They had to force him to. The Democrats had to force him to. Okay? So, and this is interesting. If he goes beyond the scope of what his report states, you're looking at literally possible legal situation. Give me your thoughts below. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Please share my Jerusalem Post op-ed everywhere. You know what? I'll put below. From now on, I'll start putting below. You can go to my author page in the Federalist, and you could look up my writing in the Jerusalem Post. But a lot of it talks about why Trump is right about a lot of things, especially the whole nonsense regarding the Mueller probe and this absurd claim that he worked with Russia. There was never any evidence. The notion you have to have like issues in your life to actually believe that Clapper and Brennan and Comey were telling you the truth. You have to literally not care about reality and just have so much contempt for Trump where you just believe anything. These people, if they had stated that Clinton was guilty of, Espionage Act violations, which she was, these same people would say, oh my God, it's unfair. It's because she's a woman. Oh my God. Colin Powell did the same things. He didn't. It's not fair. It was, the intelligence community is doing everything bad for this country. They only care about the intelligence community when it suits their interests. You think Clapper and Brennan and Comey don't know that? You think Mueller doesn't know that? He was part of the same crowd. They're insidious. They're sinister. Mueller wanted to be Trump's FBI director after Comey was let go. Then he investigates Trump. So this guy's like a mercenary. He doesn't care. He has no allegiance to anyone except state authority and power. That's it. And all of these people are like serpents. All of these people are like, the media and the intelligence community are like serpents that gravitate towards political influence and power. And you'll see when Trump wins again and he defeats Clinton again, you will see the media and the intelligence chiefs abandon ship. Trump has already wrestled control, almost all control. Once he fires, once he lets Dan Coates go and gets a new national security advisor. Dan Coates. Sorry. ODNI chief. Bolton is the... Okay, so once he gets a new ODNI chief, it's really game, set, match. But, nice. Trump met with Nunez to talk intel chief replacements. Look, it's happening. Dan Coates is on his way out. And he's part of the old guard. He's on his way out. And the really interesting thing about all of this is that Democrats don't realize that they're imploding. They don't realize that Trump is a lot smarter. The bottom line is really this. Trump is a lot smarter than they are. He beat them in the election. He survived endless onslaughts. He's now playing games with them left and right. They're calling him racist, but they did in 2015. Look, they have altered that word forever. It now unfortunately doesn't mean what it used to mean. Same with white supremacists. Same with all those words. It used to mean somebody who literally had the belief that one group of people were superior to another group of people, and it was truly based on the concept of bigotry and hate. And now it's just, oh, you disagree with me? Okay, then you're that word, you talk about cultural appropriation. The Democrats do that with Jewish history, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And I mean, they've gone into like this sinister realm. And sinister is a great word to talk about. I explain in my Jerusalem Post op-ed. I literally can't go into the full explanation because of the algorithm. But read my Jerusalem Post op-ed. It is below. Subscribe to HA2A. That is my other channel. It's now a firearms channel, but it will be an extension of my website where you can defeat any person who has Trump derangement syndrome on any major claim. And I'll update it every day. So every new propaganda spin, look, Trump's not perfect, but so if I agree with something that he shouldn't have done, I'm not going to defend the president. But more often than not, the website will be a defense of President Trump, and it'll be basically explaining the propaganda spin and how he didn't say, like when they say, "Oh, he told everybody to go back." No, he didn't. That chant was almost a juvenile reaction to what media interpreted of his actual words, which were not those words. He literally stated, "Then come back and show us how it's done." Anyway, whether it's Trump worked with Russia or Trump said both sides or whatever, you will love that website. It'll be up hopefully in about little month and a half or so. Maybe less than a month and a half. It'll be subscription-based. You'll love it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Check out my segment later this evening. This is amazing. Mueller is basically telling, William Barr is telling Mueller, hey, be cool. Don't start nothing. There won't be nothing. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very much.